Nathan strides forward through dark thorns, his clothes and face stained with fresh blood. Protagonist Arianel trembles in fear, knowing her husband is destined to kill her. Terror washes over her as the weight of her dark future sinks in. Nathan stares intently into her eyes while gripping her face with a firm hand. He notes her lack of fever after checking her temperature with a cold touch. Young Princess Crystal worriedly asks if her mother-in-law is feeling unwell. Nathan gazes at her with a chilling smile, promising to take good care of her. The family stands together amidst a blooming field of purple flowers. A quiet, moonlit night settles over the grand and imposing imperial palace. Emperor Nathan sits bored upon his throne as the court whispers around him. Ladies of the court present a violin as a token of goodwill to the emperor. They eagerly plead for the chance to perform their music for His Majesty. Nathan finds their musical performance utterly unpleasant and glares with glowing red eyes. The performers bow low in a desperate apology for displeasing the emperor. Adelaide questions why the performance failed to satisfy the cold-hearted ruler. She introduces a jeweler's daughter to Nathan, but he remains visibly unimpressed. A shadowy figure watches the festivities from the edge of the banquet hall. Arianel senses a murderer's gaze and fears for her life in this dangerous court. She reflects on the gravity of her situation after being granted a second life. She remembers her former life as a successful hairdresser in a different world. Her career as a charismatic stylist once brought her fame and top-tier clients. Demanding people and endless work eventually drained her passion for styling. Deep exhaustion left her on the verge of losing all trust in others. Reading a webcomic about the tyrant Nathan was her only source of comfort. A tiny fan finds solace in the unconditional love promised within her favorite story. She rushes home through the dark streets to catch the latest chapter update. A sudden, blinding light crashes toward her as she lets out a pained groan. Waking up as Nathan's wife on her wedding night leaves her in total shock. She realizes she has become Arianel, the character destined for immediate death. She resolves to do absolutely nothing today to avoid crossing paths with Nathan. Arianel dreams of a peaceful life living as an unnoticed background character. Standing alone at the beautiful party, she finds the atmosphere incredibly dull. She spots Princess Crystal and realizes the girl is the heroine of the original story. The young princess stares with wide, innocent eyes at the grand banquet.
Arianel is heartbroken to see the adorable girl left all alone without any attendance.
The little girl tentatively reaches for a sweet treat on the long table. A noblewoman in orange carelessly bumps into Crystal, causing a startled cry. Ariel watches in disapproval as the woman leaves without even offering an apology. She closes her eyes, frustrated that no one is stepping up to help the child. She decides to follow the rude woman through the crowded ballroom. Arianel stops the noblewoman, asking for a brief moment of her time. She points out a displaced hair ornament and offers to fix the woman's style. A sudden, sharp pull accidentally rips a hairpiece away from the woman's head. Panic seizes Arianel as she realizes she has committed a major social blunder. The noblewoman stands exposed, revealing a disastrously failed dye job beneath her wig. The woman furiously demands her hair back while Arianel regrets her impulsive intervention. Ariel observes Crystal from afar, noting the girl hasn't touched her cake yet. The young princess gazes at a chocolate cupcake with a curious expression. Crystal finally takes a bite and is overwhelmed by the sweetness. Seeing the girl find a moment of joy brings a gentle smile to Arianel's face. Ariel notices Princess Crystal's wasted cuteness. She critiques the young princess's dress color. Arianel blames the slacking maids for Crystal's state. She considers becoming the princess's maid herself. Nathan suddenly appears, startling the nervous Arianel. Gasps of shock ripple through the room. Arianel realizes Nathan is speaking only to her. Fear takes hold as she confirms his focus. She offers a trembling greeting to the emperor. Nathan remains silent, staring intensely at her. The awkward silence stretches between the two. Arianel desperately begs him to say something. She struggles to remember complex noble etiquette. Her hazy memories make social interactions difficult. Chancellor Raymond notes the emperor's obvious interest. Raymond curiously asks about the lady's identity. An aide identifies her as Silva's princess. Raymond recalls Silva's fame for magic stones. Former Empress Adelaide comments on the distraction. Adelaide suggests the couple spend time alone. Raymond questions the forwardness of her suggestion. He internally mocks the tiny nation's princess. Adelaide plans to use the girl's weakness. Raymond plots to seize the magic stones. They strategize to secure their own positions. Nathan continues to glare at the schemers. Arianel senses the hostility and seeks escape. She tries to excuse herself by feigning illness. Two women suddenly block Arianel's only exit. The sisters corner her with mock friendliness. Arianel struggles to recognize all the faces. The red-haired sister patronizingly offers her help. She cruelly mocks Ariel's lack of education. Sharp, painful memories suddenly flood Arianel's mind. She remembers her elder sister's past abuse. The sisters' cruel words echo from long ago. Arianel feels the original character's deep heartbreak. She worries Crystal is suffering similar treatment. She envisions their shared burden of isolation. Ariel resolves not to leave Crystal alone. The sisters roughly restrain the panicked Arianel. She tries to pull away from them. A sister's hand grips her dress tightly. Nathan pulls Arianel into a protective embrace. The court watches the sudden embrace in shock. The sister stands frozen in absolute terror. Nathan coldly commands everyone to be silent. He issues a lethal threat to the room. Arianel decides silence is her safest option. Nathan's firm grip leaves Arianel panicking internally. Little Princess Crystal displays her adorable charm. Nathan looks pensive before calling his chancellor. Nathan visits Arianel's chambers under the moonlight. Arianel is shocked by her sudden marriage. She fears the tyrant will kill her. Nathan dismissively tells her to rest well. Ariel wonders why he spared her life. Nathan leans against the door in confusion. Her incomprehensible thoughts leave Nathan deeply unsettled. Flashback reveals former Emperor Xivi's cold reign. Xivi maintains a stern and imposing presence. Nobles praise young Nathan's unparalleled genius. Xivi sees Nathan as his guaranteed security. Young Nathan realized he could read minds. Years later, adult Nathan remains brooding. Nervous nobles sweat under Nathan's silent judgment. Anxious whispers fill the tense throne room. Nathan finds the court meetings utterly pointless. A noblewoman seethes at Nathan's perceived arrogance. Nathan manages state affairs as ministers tremble. Nathan dismisses ministers despite their panicked pleas. He coldly commands everyone to get out. Disgraced nobles are dragged away while shouting. Nathan orders an investigation into suspected treason. The court gasps at his ruthless decree. Carlos Carmine formally accepts the emperor's command. The commander of the knights departs immediately. Nathan believes his harsh governance prevents conflict. Only the matter of an heir remains. An aide calls for the emperor's attention. Nathan focuses on the list of attendees. A grand banquet begins in the palace. A noblewoman greets the tyrant with fear. Ladies plot to catch Nathan's fickle interest. Nathan finds the courtwomen unbearably noisy. He suddenly spots a very interesting woman. Nathan inquires about Princess Arianel's identity. Raymond is shocked by the emperor's interest. Nathan considers her potential as his empress. Princess Crystal looks at treats with wonder. Nathan watches Arianel following the young princess. He remains pensive while observing her actions. Raymond notes Nathan's unusual focus on Arianel. Nathan decides on his next course of action. Nathan focuses his gaze on the silver-haired princess. Her confusing thoughts leave him completely baffled. Nathan strides purposefully through the banquet hall. Arielne is startled by the emperor's approach. Nathan demands a brief moment of her time. The court is stunned by Nathan's directness. Nathan observes Arielne, puzzled by her lack of greed. He notes she harbors no ill intentions toward him. Seeing her distress, he realizes further questioning is futile. An awkward silence stretches between the husband and wife. Nathan commands Arielne to rest before departing her room. He remains deeply suspicious of her true hidden identity. He vows to uncover whatever secrets she is hiding. Arielne breathes a massive sigh of relief after his exit. Tears flow as the weight of survival finally sinks in. She desperately considers finding a way to divorce safely. The silver-haired princess ponders her dangerous royal marriage. Exhaustion finally overtakes her racing and fearful thoughts. Anxiety prevents sleep as she dreads an impending death. Nathan suddenly bursts back into her private chambers. He demands to know if she stole a knife. Arielne indignantly suggests he search her room and person. She prepares to prove her innocence by any means. Nathan abruptly stops her, ordering her to stay clothed. He demands she sleep in his room for monitoring. Arielne stares in total shock at his strange request. She reluctantly agrees to follow his unexpected command. Nathan leads her through the dark palace hallways. Arielne worries about the dangers lurking in the castle. She suddenly spots Princess Crystal holding a kitchen knife. Arielne realizes she must intervene to help the girl. Fear strikes as she worries they are too far. Nathan suddenly lifts Arielne and leaps from the balcony. She is breathless at his display of raw power. Nathan commands her to be quiet during the descent. They land on the ground with a soft thud sounding. Arielne marvels at his incredible speed and accuracy. She believes they might still save the young princess. The dizzying speed of the rescue leaves her reeling. Nathan glares at the young girl holding the blade. Crystal warns the approaching pair to stay away. Nathan reaches out his hand as Arielne watches. Arielne finds herself frozen by Nathan's overwhelming presence. Crystal prepares to use the knife in her hands. Arielne regrets her inability to change the future. The blonde girl weeps while clutching her chest. Arielne cries as she reflects on her perceived failure. Nathan stands over the girl with the recovered knife. Arielne wishes she could reach out to the child. She watches Crystal sob in the dark courtyard. Nathan reveals Crystal's intent to cut her own hair. Arielne gently apologizes for frightening the young princess. She asks Nathan to remain silent for a moment. Arielne gasps upon seeing Crystal's red, blistered palms. She blames her own actions for the girl's desperation. Nathan watches Arielne with intensity. Nathan insists understanding isn't enough. He questions trusting a child. Crystal's eyes well with tears. Arielne protectively holds Crystal's hand. Arielne offers her hairdressing skills. She smiles warmly at Crystal. Arielne ties back through Ver. She laughs, lightening the mood. Crystal reveals her failed plan. The girl admits her preferences. Arielne promises a cute style. Crystal agrees with a nod. Scissors and brushes sit ready. Arielne suggests the emperor rest. Nathan refuses to leave them. He demands she focus. Arielne offers a nervous apology. Nathan's gaze makes her nervous. They stand together in silence. She adds the finishing touches. Arielne triumphantly announces she's finished. A new dress is revealed. Arielne claps for the wivel. A flower adorns the dress. Crystal's short hair is revealed. The short style looks adorable. Arielne worries she overdid it. She asks Nathan's honest opinion. Crystal feels small and anxious. A sharp, fearful gasp sounds. Arielne reassures the young princess. Crystal marvels at the change. Arielne smiles at the success. She calls Crystal cute repeatedly. Crystal's eyes shine with wonder. Crystal offers a joyful thanks. Helping others brings Ariel joy. Ariel ponders Crystal's specific wording. She recalls Crystal's gendered struggle. Ariel turns back toward Nathan. Nathan coldly orders Crystal away. Crystal tries to speak up. Nathan threatens the child harshly. Crystal flees the scene terrified. Ariel is stunned by him. Nathan demands a private talk. Ariel regrets her past rudeness. She feels her doom approaching. Her life flashes before her. Nathan holds Ariel close, his thoughts revealing a deep, hidden affection. Ariel remains tense, calculating the danger of their close proximity. A servant opens the grand doors for the Emperor's arrival. Ariel watches silently as the palace power dynamics shift. Ariel suddenly realizes that Nathan possesses the terrifying power to read minds. The narrator explains the ancient, miraculous nature of spirit contracts. Ariel panics, realizing this world deviates from the original story. Nathan draws a blade, demanding answers to her silent questions. He threatens her life for her suspicious and guarded thoughts. Ariel boldly questions the true nature of his requested conversation. Nathan demands she explain the mysterious book he overheard in her mind. His pointed question confirms her worst fear. Her mind is exposed. Held at the blade's edge, she is forced to reveal everything. Nathan is stunned when her mental chatter suddenly vanishes completely. Ariel smirks, claiming she has finally discovered his greatest weakness. She finds humor in his confusion, visualizing his frustration. The Emperor stands utterly baffled by her sudden, bold change. Ariel declares she possesses the incredible power of future sight. She details her narrow escape from her own preordained execution. Nathan finds her claims unbelievable, yet cannot read her thoughts. She informs him that his mental powers are currently incomplete. Ariel confidently asserts control over their tense and dangerous negotiation. She demands a formal guarantee of safety for herself and Crystal. Nathan remains deeply suspicious, wondering if he is being deceived. He notes her genuine concern for her young stepdaughter's welfare. Ariel proposes a magical contract to solidify their new agreement. Nathan leads Ariel through the palace to formalize their pact. Nathan prepares the document, citing the spirit's heavy violation penalties. He outlines the terms of their mutual and strategic assistance. He asks if she has any final objections to the terms. The magical seal is struck, binding them together by law. Ariel stands bathed in the light of the completed contract. The couple lies awake, sharing a bed in stiff silence. Ariel panics internally as their personal space disappears completely. Nathan demands she sleep quietly as she blushes over their proximity. Elsewhere, desperate miners toil in a frozen and cavernous landscape. A weary worker gazes longingly at a glowing blue magic stone. He considers the risk of theft to save his starving family. A companion catches him, warning of the lethal consequences of theft. They argue over the survival of their cold and starving loved ones. They place their desperate hopes in the new princess consort's help. Reality strikes as he reluctantly pulls away from the temptation. The scene shifts to a lavish and wasteful noble banquet hall. A gluttonous noble demands pastries while ignoring his suffering people. An aide warns of failing harvests and rapidly emptying granaries. The noble remains indifferent to the growing plight of the poor. Ariel's cruel sisters arrive to interrupt their father's indulgent meal. He looks up, greeting his daughters with casual and cold disregard. The red-haired sister mocks Ariel's standing with the powerful emperor. The family plots to exploit Ariel's new royal position. The red-haired sister plans to manipulate Ariel. The round-faced father laughs with greedy delight. A blue-haired man doubts Ariel's intelligence. Nathan demands Ariel sleep more quietly now. Nathan complains her thoughts are too noisy. He questions why she cannot block thoughts. Arianel fears execution for her loud thoughts. She realizes stopping her fantasies is impossible. Nathan looms over Arianel in the bed. Arianel nervously addresses the blonde emperor. Nathan notes her mental noise finally stopped. Nathan worries her heart won't take it while Arianel panics. Nathan pulls her into a sudden embrace. Arianel stares wide-eyed at his unexpected comfort. Nathan wonders if he worsened the situation. Close panels show their hair and touch. Arianel requests they sleep separately from now. Nathan runs a hand through his hair. Nathan dresses while Arianel watches from bed. The silver-haired princess stares back at him. Nathan puts on a black shirt solemnly. His red eye glows with intense focus. Young Crystal weeps alone on her bed. Nathan asks if Crystal is her concern. Arianel discusses the princess's desire for manhood. Nathan dismisses her concern as entirely unnecessary. Arianel desperately grabs his arm to stay. Nathan proposes using the contract to visit. Arianel cites the contract's protection for boldness. Nathan warns that barging in will frighten Crystal. Arianel prepares to explain Crystal's true situation. Nathan reflects on the vacant Empress position. He considers how a new prince affects Crystal. Crystal watches Arianel leave her behind alone. Nathan deems Arianel the source of fear. Arianel plans to use her hairdressing skills. She feels determined to help the princess. Arianel recalls school hair rules from Earth. Nathan is baffled by her nonsensical delusions. Ariel suggests Nathan visit his daughter alone. Nathan claims his presence is irrelevant here. Arianel grabs Nathan's face, asserting his fatherhood. Flowers frame the couple's intense, close stare. Nathan admits Crystal is also afraid of him. Arianel realizes Nathan's scary face terrifies children. She questions his lack of contact with Crystal. Nathan warns she is expressing love incorrectly. Arianel encourages him to see the princess. Nathan is stunned by her optimistic outlook. Arianel smiles, trusting in her new plan. Nathan agrees to visit, dismissing Arianel's touch. A blurry memory of a faceless woman. Crystal weeps while longing for her mother's warmth. The young princess calls out in anguish. Crystal is startled by her short-haired reflection. A maid's hand tightens around a bucket. The maids shriek upon seeing Crystal's hair. They panic over their own failing positions. The cruel maids drench Crystal with water. They mockingly call her a drowned rat. Soaked and shivering, Crystal whispers for mother. A sudden splash sounds as Arianel drenches them. She furiously berates their heartless, cruel behavior. Arianel is horrified they used latrine water. Her shadow looms over the terrified maid. An arrogant maid yells back at Arianel. Nathan's icy glare suddenly terrifies the servants. He stands protectively behind Arianel, silencing them. The purple-haired maid fears her imminent death. She desperately plans to blame the Empress. Arianel offers Nathan a small, relieved smile. She greets the princess with gentle warmth. Nathan watches as Ariel comforts the child. Arianel kindly offers to wash Crystal's hair. The princess is confused by the unexpected kindness. Arianel quickly reassures her with a smile. Nathan reflects on the futility of conversation. Arianel takes charge, dismissing the maid's excuses. She decides to clean the mess herself. Arianel stands firm as the servants watch. She smiles brightly, ready to help Crystal. A beautiful, intricate hairstyle is finally revealed. Arianel offers to adjust the hair's length. Crystal is mesmerized by her stunning transformation. Arianel beams with satisfaction at her work. Nathan notes the atmosphere of fear vanishing. He feels pleasant emotions filling the room. The maids are awestruck by Crystal's beauty. Crystal feels like an entirely different person. Arianel affectionately embraces the young blonde princess. Mental praise for Crystal echoes through Nathan. Nathan and Arianel share a silent look. Crystal is moved by her father's recognition. Nathan sincerely compliments Crystal's magnificent appearance. Ariel glows with pride at his words. The purple-haired maid is shocked by Nathan. The brown-haired maid wonders about his interest. Ariel laughs joyfully at the maid's defeat.
The maids fall to their knees, apologizing.
They beg for mercy, vowing total devotion.
Ariel realizes the servants fear Nathan's shadow.
Ariel stands tall before the trembling maids.
Ariel demands an apology for Princess Crystal.
Nathan begrudgingly agrees to consider more communication. A sudden crack of shock hits the maids. The servants beg young Crystal for forgiveness. Crystal listens to the palace staff's pleas. Ariel tells Crystal she needn't offer forgiveness. Nathan leaves Ariel to manage the staff. Nathan's heavy exhaustion fills the room with a thud. Ariel admits to her own sleepless night. Nathan abruptly ends the conversation and leaves.
The silver-haired princess watches the emperor depart.
Ariel sighs with exhaustion and slight amusement.
Ariel prepares to leave the princess's side.
Ariel turns as Crystal grabs her sleeve. Crystal desperately reaches for Ariel's lace dress.
Chibi Crystal shyly tries to find words.
Crystal asks to touch Ariel's hair again. Ariel gushes over Crystal's overwhelming cuteness.
Ariel remembers her long-term goal of divorce.
She drifts off into a quiet, peaceful sleep.
Palace staff gossip about the imperial couple's night.
Nuns discuss Ariel's extraordinary influence on Nathan. Rumors circulate that Ariel is a saintess.
A man investigates Ariel's origins in Silva.
The man reacts to news of Ariel.
Sunlight bathes the towers of the palace.
Ruby sits alone in her grand parlor. Ruby clenches her fist over news of Ariel. Maisie enters to discuss the current rumors. Ruby reprimands Maisie for her lack of manners. Maisie excitedly brings news of Ariel's reputation. Ruby fumes over Ariel's perceived social arrogance. Maisie credits their family's education for Ariel. Ruby mocks Ariel's supposed self-made royal success.
Maisie asks for advice on humbling Ariel.
Maisie asks if Ruby received her festival invitation. Ruby confirms her attendance at the Holy Festival.
Maisie plans to reclaim credit for Ariel's fortune.
Maisie claps with joy for their busy future. Maisie skips out of the room happily. Ruby decides to exploit Ariel's many enemies. Ruby plots to use the Empress's opposition.
Ariel stands with Crystal and the maids.
Ariel shares a tender moment with Crystal. Her confusion is met with a soft, cheerful chirping. Ariel considers replacing her terrified royal attendants. Crystal gazes up with big, soulful eyes. Ariel reassigns the bullies to her service.
Ariel remains deeply skeptical of the palace staff's sudden commitment.
Young Crystal sits alone, looking incredibly sad and dejected. Ariel considers asking the emperor for help despite his arrogance.
The purple-haired maid suggests that Ariel is the real problem.
Ariel reacts with wide-eyed shock to the maid's blunt assessment. The maid reports rumors of the emperor's undivided romantic interest. Ariel panics, realizing they haven't even shared a single night. Ariel watches Crystal closely, sensing the young girl's inner turmoil. Ariel's imagination conjures ghosts of her being Crystal's greatest enemy. Ariel kneels down to offer gentle comfort to the princess. Ariel worries her status is jeopardized by their unconsummated marriage. Ariel frantically tries to reassure Crystal that everything is fine. The maids observe the awkward royal interaction from the corner. Ariel expresses her mounting frustration while brushing Crystal's golden hair. Crystal looks at herself with wide, uncertain eyes after grooming. The maids celebrate Ariel's efforts with high-spirited, joyful clapping. Ariel contemplates the importance of the upcoming Holy Night Festival. A romantic vision of a royal dance occupies Ariel's thoughts. Ariel laments that the emperor has never even called her name. Ariel resolves to maintain distance and prioritize obtaining a divorce.
Ariel asks the maids about her lack of festival preparations.
A sudden and heavy silence falls over the room.
Ariel quickly shifts focus to Crystal's wardrobe for the festival.
The maids present a plain white dress that lacks elegance. Crystal looks down with a deeply sad and disappointed expression. Ariel questions if such a simple dress shows proper care.
Ariel sparkles with newfound determination to provide a better dress. Ariel begins to move forward with a plan, accompanied by the staff. Ariel notices that Crystal seems unusually disinterested in her clothes.
Ariel wonders why the once excited princess now dreads dressing up.
Ariel holds Crystal's hands and offers her full maternal support.
Ariel thanks the maids but asks for a private moment.
Crystal stares at her reflection in the mirror with misery. Ariel kneels and speaks softly to bond with the princess.
Crystal remains silent and looks away with a sigh.
Ariel offers a warm, encouraging smile to the young girl.
Ariel carefully braids Crystal's hair while discussing the beauty of change.
Crystal begins to feel a spark of joy from the transformation. Ariel enthusiastically explains that fashion is about embracing new versions of oneself.
The maids are visibly moved by Ariel's inspiring words and kindness.
Crystal tearfully reveals a traumatic memory of a cruel clothing designer. Ariel is taken aback by the shocking nature of Crystal's revelation.
The purple-haired maid explains the details of the past incident.
A posh designer in a grand gown lectures the group.
The arrogant designer insults the princess's attire as Ariel's anger boils.
The terrified maids warn that involving the emperor means certain execution.
The maid suggests that Ariel's unique position might grant her mercy.
Ariel flashes back to being rejected by a haughty shop clerk. Ariel reflects on her shared trauma and shopping-related identity crisis.
Ariel observes Crystal in the mirror while the girl brushes her hair.
Ariel watches Crystal as she sits quietly before the vanity. Ariel vows to provide Crystal with an unforgettable fashion experience. Ariel promises to protect the princess from any future insults.
Ariel beams with a bright, floral aura of determination.
Ariel commandingly tells the maids to line up all the princess's dresses. Crystal looks up at Ariel with wide, hopeful red eyes.
Ariel confidently promises a transformation with a cheerful gesture.
Flashbacks reveal Crystal's past trauma with tacky, restrictive clothing. Crystal watches Ariel with a look of pure, innocent wonder.
Ariel's radiant smile fills Crystal with newfound shock and hope. Ariel stands proudly beside the princess, guiding her transformation. Crystal expresses her deep love for Ariel's styling skills. Ariel is hilariously overwhelmed as a joyful spark hits her heart.
Crystal trusts Ariel completely and asks for her help choosing.
Ariel claps her hands together, thrilled to begin the project. Ariel requests the ladies-in-waiting join the collaborative styling effort.
Sunlight bathes the grand dome of the Imperial Palace towers.
A maid welcomes a guest through the grand golden doors.
The popular designer complains about being summoned so abruptly.
The designer gasps in shock at the Imperial Highness before her.
Nathan sits regally on his throne before the gathered nobility. Nathan maintains a cold, silent gaze during the imperial session. Nobles whisper about the silent tyrant and the queen's behavior. The bald man worries about the lack of information from within.
Nathan's sharp eyes narrow as he senses the noble's wandering thoughts.
Nathan unexpectedly asks for a direct report regarding the Empress.
The nobles are utterly stunned by the Emperor's sudden inquiry.
A sharp, quick tap sounds from the Emperor's fingers as he waits. Conrad bravely raises his hand to speak up for the Empress.
Nathan grants Conrad permission to share his gathered information.
The designer stares in awe at the intricate, beautiful lace gown.
A detail of the elegant disguise captures the designer's attention.
Ariel and Crystal sit regally as the designer enters the parlor. Crystal looks shy yet stunning in her coordinated new attire.
Ariel greets the designer, explaining that they have been waiting. Ariel graciously invites the overwhelmed guest to take a seat. The designer is left speechless by the group's marvelous beauty. The designer gushes over the high-class coordination of the group. Crystal proudly reveals that Lady Ariel did her hair personally. Ariel offers a calm, serene smile as the truth comes out. The dark-haired maid asks if she deserves such high treatment. Ariel explains that the staff's appearance reflects the mistress's status. A hand gently works through the maid's long, dark tresses. Past memories contrast the old shabbiness with the current brilliance. She lets out a soft, surprised "huh" at the makeover's speed. The maid beams with joy after her sudden, beautiful transformation. Ariel personally styles her maids while the others watch happily. The group enjoys tea and cake in a moment of bonding. The designer's eyes sparkle as she falls for Ariel's charm. The red-haired designer experiences a sudden creative spark. She sketches rapidly while imagining Crystal's vibrant colors. Ariel is impressed while Crystal glows with happiness. Careful hands illustrate a new dress for the princess. The designer bows while declining the Empress's request. Crystal and her maids watch the conversation anxiously. Ariel asks for the reason behind her refusal. Previous contracts with royal officials limit the designer's freedom. Ariel realizes shadow figures are mistreating young Crystal. She proposes hiring the designer directly to bypass them. Ariel affectionately embraces the young, blushing princess. The purple-haired maid expresses her deep-seated hesitation. Ariel listens intently to the maid's quiet confession. The maids are visibly startled by Ariel's boldness. Ariel promises her trust despite Nathan's mental interference. She acknowledges the palace is a den of enemies. Ariel joins hands with the maids, cementing loyalty. Memories of cruel servants past haunt Ariel's thoughts. Ariel affirms her high regard for the designer. Her request focuses on the designer's professional merit. Ariel asks for the designer's partnership once more. A silent, floral-framed pact is made between them. The designer vows to create the perfect dress. Ariel turns her attention back to the princess. Crystal hesitates, her eyes wide with nervous uncertainty. A maid warns of serious palace budget constraints. Ariel remains silent as the maids look troubled. Ariel reflects on Nathan's avoidance over the week. She prepares to handle the dress preparations alone. Nathan sits regally as bald priests approach him. A priest offers a gift from the Pope. Nathan coldly denies any meeting with the church. The bald priest's smile masks a simmering annoyance. Nathan shuts down dialogue while the priests pray. The emperor's red eyes burn with quiet intensity. The priests recite a prayer as they depart. Ariel walks alone through the sun-drenched palace. She resolves to confront Nathan herself immediately. Ariel stands before the massive, ornate throne doors. She is surprised to be spotted so quickly. A black-haired official demands she leave at once. Conrad Wyndham warns her of the current danger. He claims Nathan is working to protect her. Ariel is baffled by the official's strange claims. She decides to withdraw before things become difficult. Baseless rumors continue to frustrate the princess consort. Conrad is suddenly struck by a moment of panic. He roughly grabs Ariel's arm to pull her. Conrad hides her behind a pillar, silencing her. Ariel watches the high-ranking church officials pass by. 3 bald priests in gray robes complain about missing the saintess. Ariel overhears the mention of a saintess with sudden curiosity. The clergymen criticize Nathan for monopolizing the holy saintess. Ariel realizes the emperor is considered an enemy of the church. A priest notes that the saintess's identity remains officially unconfirmed. The silver-haired princess reacts with a look of startled confusion. Her purple eye widens as she processes the cleric's words. The priests walk away down the grand, ornate palace hallway. Conrad Wyndham startles Ariel as he watches the priests depart. Ariel asks Conrad if those specific clerics were the danger. She panics upon realizing they mistakenly believe she is the saintess. Conrad explains the group has requested audiences daily for a week. Arianel deduces that Nathan has been avoiding her to protect her.
She is moved by the realization of Nathan's silent protection. Conrad bows deeply while offering a sincere, humble apology. Ariel's brain struggles to process the mountain of new information. She firmly refuses to punish Conrad for his helpful actions.
Arianel grabs Conrad's arm, dragging him to settle things immediately.
She peeks through the massive doors of the audience chamber. Her face reflects shock as she enters the grand room. Nathan catches Arianel in his arms before she falls.
The blonde emperor stares intensely as Arianel looks up.
Conrad Wyndham watches the sudden embrace with absolute, wide-eyed shock.
A mustached noble reacts with bewilderment at the Empress's arrival.
Nathan coldly announces he will speak with Ariel alone. The terrified noble quickly agrees and prepares to leave. Conrad reflects on the rumors of the emperor being smitten. He worries about the consequences of having touched the Empress. Nathan's red eye glows with a terrifying, silent threat. Conrad hastily makes a nervous exit from the imperial chamber. Nathan suddenly covers Arianel's mouth with his large hand.
Arianel is annoyed by his sudden, forceful silencing gesture.
She worries that this scene will only cause more misunderstandings. The couple stands alone in the middle of the hallway. Nathan claims she should thank him for stopping her chatter. Arianel questions the necessity of his aggressive silencing tactic. Nathan notes that Conrad was terrified of having touched her. Arielna demands that Nathan stop reading her internal thoughts. Nathan blames her for allowing her loud thoughts to spill. Arianel considers the absurdity of her current mental situation. Nathan mentions his curiosity regarding Conrad's uncharacteristically bold behavior. They walk together as Arianel prepares to explain herself. Arianel recounts her encounter with the procession of clerics. Nathan summarizes her panicked decision to hide from the group. Nathan directly asks if she truly is the Holy Saintess. He demands the identity of the person she considers real. Arianel explains the true Saintess has not yet awakened. She fears this new rumor will make her divorce impossible. Nathan is stunned that she foresaw the Saintess's future awakening. Nathan remains convinced that Arianel is the person he seeks. Nathan deduces Ariel's desire for divorce stems from her hidden identity as the Saintess. Arianel internally grumbles about the annoyance of Nathan's mind-reading ability. Nathan hears her thought and questions her description of his power as half-baked. Delicate blue jewels adorn the silver-haired princess as she remains silent. Arianel lashes out, claiming Nathan understands nothing despite his arrogance. Nathan coldly retorts that he knows all about the liars and traitors surrounding her. Memories of an untrustworthy family haunt Nathan as he reflects on his past.
Blood drips as the emperor reflects on the inherent filth of the human heart.
Despite not being the Saintess, Arianel offers to teach Nathan a lesson. The princess consort stands tall with her arms crossed, looking remarkably determined.
Nathan asks with a smirk if she truly understands who he is.
Arianel bluntly labels the emperor a stubborn and presumptuous child. Nathan is amused by her plan to lecture him like a child.
Arianel stands and begins to move toward the seated emperor.
Nathan watches with glowing red eyes as Arianel approaches him.
Ariel suddenly pulls the emperor into a warm, surprising embrace.
Surrounded by blooming purple roses, Nathan is stunned by her sudden affection. Nathan's red eye widens in shock as he processes the unexpected contact. A close-up captures the soft touch of Arianel's floral dress against him. The couple sits together on the floor of the massive, sunlit audience chamber. Nathan leans into the embrace, whispering a quiet, sincere thanks. He questions the purpose of her kindness while resting his head on her. Ariel beams with a radiant smile as she comforts the emperor. Nathan claims he is still angry despite the softening of his expression.
Arianel gently rests her hand on his neck, promising she has no ill intent.
A sudden, sharp spark of realization startles Arianel during their contact.
Adorable, floating white spirits surround the Emperor in a moment of peace. In the grand hallway, Nathan reflects on the wavering nature of human thoughts. He considers the vast difference between simple thoughts and real actions. Arianel holds Nathan's face gently, her expression full of warmth and kindness. Nathan realizes that she is masking deep fear with a brave exterior. Swirling blue energy represents the hidden terror within Ariel's heart. Dark, rainy visions of Ariel's past trauma suddenly flood Nathan's mind. A vision of a blade pointed at Arianel reflects her fear of death. Nathan sees Arianel crying out in despair as blood splashes across the vision. He wonders if this dark, thorny path is the future she truly fears. A contrasting, bright vision shows Nathan and young Crystal playing happily. Ariel's profile glows with happiness as she watches the joyful scene. She stands elegantly in her floral dress, looking like a beacon of hope. In the vision, Nathan walks away from the darkness toward the light. Nathan looks back with a sense of realization as the vision begins to fade. Back in the throne room, Nathan holds Arianel tightly as he returns to reality. Nathan notes that he called her name many times without a response. Arianel suggests that the Emperor lie down if he is feeling unwell. Nathan remains troubled, feeling that their encounter has only raised more questions. He roughly pulls Arianel back, demanding she fulfill her promise to explain. Arianel is startled by his sudden, intense proximity and forceful grip. They stare at each other intensely as Nathan refuses to let her go. Young Crystal bursts into the room accompanied by Conrad and a maid. The blonde princess shouts in a panic, her face flushed with alarm. Arianel stares in shock at Princess Crystal. Nathan carries Ariel through pillars of light. Nathan holds Arianel amidst swirling magical energy. Nathan protectively embraces Arianel in his torn uniform. Ariel's eye snaps open with sudden realization. Nathan asks if Arianel is hurt or okay. A close-up captures Arianel's sudden, startled expression. Nathan insists his injuries aren't as severe as they appear. Nathan checks on Arianel while she looks surprised. Surrounded by flowers, Arianel blushes with intense embarrassment. Nathan notes that she seems perfectly fine now. Arianel is horrified by the chaotic magical aftermath. A flashback shows Crystal amidst a massive hall. Nathan notes Crystal was the unexpected source of magic. Arianel examines Nathan's badly damaged Imperial uniform. A vision depicts Crystal forming a high-level contract. Arianel wonders when the princess gained magical abilities. Nathan looks at Arianel with a curious expression. Arianel loudly denies being the holy saintess. Nathan claims her eyes reveal her every thought. Young Crystal watches a massive magical circle erupt. Conrad Wyndham and a maid look on worriedly. Arianel fears the consequences of others seeing this. A bright, golden orb of light suddenly appears. Ariel turns her gaze toward the mysterious light. Conrad orders the palace staff to wait outside. He firmly enforces the Emperor's command for privacy. Young Crystal stands nervously in the palace hallway. Nathan praises Conrad's decision to restrict the room. Conrad bows deeply to acknowledge the Emperor's praise. Nathan faces the princess and Arianel together. Nathan demands a full explanation for the magic. Crystal looks up with a look of determination. Arianel notes the princess's deep concern for her. Crystal looks distressed near the floating golden light. Arianel realizes she was right about the princess. Arianel tells Nathan not to frighten Princess Crystal. Nathan notes Crystal's confusion regarding her own magic. Nathan asks Arianel if her saintess status provides answers. Arianel looks away, trying to hide her knowledge. She asks Nathan if he can see the orb. Arianel points at the spirit while others look baffled. Nathan states plainly that there is nothing there. Conrad and the maid share a confused look. Arianel realizes only she can perceive the spirit. She panics that this will only prove she's a saintess. Nathan watches Ariel's odd behavior with growing suspicion. Crystal suddenly shouts that she can see the light. Ariel is overjoyed while Nathan reacts with shock. The priests decide to sneak toward the Empress's palace. The bald cleric acknowledges the other's anxiety. Two clerics watch a bright light from afar.
They identify the light source as the chamber.
The cleric determines they must plan their next move.
Ariel is utterly shocked that the spirit spoke. The group stands as the yellow spirit floats.
Ariel clasps her hands while the spirit play acts. The spirit suggests using magic to destroy the castle. Nathan admits he cannot see or hear the spirit. Ariel turns pale with shock at Nathan's words.
The golden spirit realizes it is still invisible.
The spirit pouts and refuses to give rewards.
Conrad and the maid watch the spirit's trails.
Ariel looks down, saddened by the spirit's words. Nathan confirms that he understands the current situation. Ariel notices Princess Crystal has something to say. Ariel warmly encourages the princess to speak out. Crystal describes seeing a beautiful, long-haired woman. Ariel is offended by the spirit's rude label. Nathan looks grim, while Ariel protects the princess. Nathan lowers his sword toward the terrified servants. Nathan coldly declares the two witnesses must die. The maid and Conrad react with sheer terror. Ariel is horrified by Nathan's sudden murderous intent. The spirit explains that seeing it is special. Ariel argues that neither of them are saints. Nathan considers the church's desire to control magic. Nathan grips his sword, vowing to protect them. The servants desperately swear to keep the secret. Nathan's hand tightens firmly around his sword hilt.
Ariel stands between Nathan and the frightened servants.
Nathan asks why she is stopping his hand.
Ariel shouts that she refuses to let them die.
Nathan argues that he cannot trust the witnesses. Conrad and the maid stand frozen in fear. Ariel insists the servants are deserving of trust. She recounts the servants' loyalty and hard work. Ariel argues that discarding valuable people is wrong. Nathan warns that the church could force betrayal. Ariel points out their fear is perfectly natural. The silver-haired princess looks down in deep sorrow. Nathan stares intensely, waiting for her next move. Ariel leans her head against the emperor's chest. Crystal covers her eyes while the spirit hovers. Nathan asks if she expects to change him.
Ariel asks him to wait and watch closely.
Ariel embraces Nathan while her spirits scold him.
She asks if he understands the proper path.
Ariel and Nathan share a sudden, breathless kiss. Nathan holds his sword out with intense resolve. Nathan notes that the witness's attention has finally shifted to him. Nathan raises his blade while the maid cowers in desperate prayer. Conrad stoically accepts the possibility of his impending death today. Nathan pulls Ariel into a tight, sudden, and silent embrace.
Conrad and the maid watch the royal couple in complete bewilderment.
Nathan holds his sword ready while Ariel protects the frightened servants. Nathan and Ariel share a sudden, passionate, and breathless kiss. Nathan maintains a firm grip on the startled princess consort's arm. The servants gape in shock while young Crystal turns bright red. The maid covers Crystal's eyes to shield her from the scene. Nathan looks startled as the sudden display of affection ends abruptly. Ariel shouts in protest at the Emperor's sudden and intense action. Nathan claims his confirmed truth has finally cleared all his doubts. Conrad questions the nature of the Emperor's lingering personal doubts. Conrad prepares himself for whatever shocking event may happen next.
Nathan stands tall as Conrad kneels before him in absolute respect.
Conrad reflects on a sacred oath made to a woman long ago. A vision of Cora appears amidst a sea of blooming roses. Nathan realizes Conrad's deep historical connection with Princess Crystal's mother. Conrad and Cora share a quiet moment together on a balcony. Cora smiles radiantly with flowers framing her elegant and kind figure.
Conrad remembers the turning point when his childhood friend got married.
Cora asks Conrad to remain by her side as a friend. Conrad reflects on the strict rules governing the consort's palace access.
Cora walks gracefully through the gardens with a gentle white dove.
Cora defends the Emperor's reputation as someone truly worthy of respect.
Cora describes her partnership with Nathan as a supportive and productive one.
Cora slams the table while venting her frustrations with the church.
Cora explains that Nathan's strength is a necessity against many enemies.
Cora politely declines another cup of tea during their long conversation.
Cora reveals the surprising and life-changing news of her impending pregnancy. Cora rests her hands on her lap while looking deeply thoughtful.
Conrad is visibly stunned by the news of Cora's royal pregnancy.
Cora anticipates the many enemies her unborn child will eventually face.
Conrad passionately vows to protect Cora and her child forever.
A tragic scream echoes as a black coffin is shown centerpiece.
Young Crystal weeps inconsolably at her mother's somber funeral service.
Nathan aggressively removes the clerics from the private mourning chamber. Nathan commands everyone who doesn't belong to leave the room immediately.
Palace staff gossip about the difficulties of serving a supposed tyrant.
Conrad internally defends Nathan against the widespread rumors of tyranny. Nathan questions the presence of those still remaining in the room.
Conrad reflects on his own weakness as he walks away slowly.
Nathan offers comfort as Conrad laments his perceived past failures. Nathan looks down with a solemn and unreadable facial expression.
Conrad remembers a quiet and distant meeting in a sunlit room.
Conrad realizes the Emperor is actually a gentle and benevolent ruler. Nathan stands before Conrad in his badly damaged imperial uniform. Nathan formally appoints the surprised Conrad to serve as his attendant.
Conrad shouts his absolute loyalty and heartfelt devotion to Nathan.
Arianel asks if the kiss was just an experiment. Nathan orders silence while remembering their sudden kiss. The Golden Spirit demands a clear explanation immediately. Arianel sighs that many things require a detailed explanation. The Spirit asks if Arianel has reached her limit. Nathan stares forward stoically, while Arianel looks quite surprised. Arianel suggests his words aren't suited for a tyrant. Nathan dismisses the confusing talk regarding spirits and saints. Young Crystal stands nervously between the two arguing adults. Nathan looks directly toward the group, asking for clarity. Arianel and Crystal look up toward the spirit. Nathan remains unmoved while standing with his arms crossed.
A flustered Arianel shouts at the calm, indifferent Emperor.
Arianel unloads a machine gun of complaints and frustrations. Young Crystal watches the floating golden spirit with curiosity. The spirit boasts about being a great spirit researcher. Crystal looks down shyly while playing with her fingers. Nathan listens to a string of incomprehensible spiritual gibberish. Arianel demands a proper dress for Princess Crystal. Nathan pulls Ariel into a sudden and passionate kiss. Nathan challenges the princess consort to keep speaking. Arianel and Crystal look completely stunned by his action. Nathan privately considers Arianel to be a ridiculous person. Nathan allows Arianel to buy as many clothes as she wants. Arianel envisions her new family in matching royal outfits. Arianel looks at Crystal with newfound maternal affection. Arianel pulls Crystal into a warm and joyful embrace. The bespectacled attendant questions if this arrangement is all right. He notes that preparing matching outfits is quite elaborate. Nathan's expression turns sour at the mention of measurements. A floral vision depicts memories of Cora and family. Nathan flatly rejects the idea as a massive hassle. Arianel argues that he shouldn't overturn his own decision. Ariel offers to personally take the Emperor's measurements. Loud thuds echo as someone bangs on the door. Nathan commands Conrad to finally open the palace doors. Nathan orders Arianel and Crystal to stay by him. Arianel and Crystal watch him with quiet, focused interest. Palace staff rush inside, shouting for the Emperor's safety.
Nathan sits regally on the throne with his family. The attendants stop in their tracks, utterly speechless. The staff wonder why the royals look so disheveled. The staff decide to clean the throne room first. The bespectacled man acknowledges the emperor's direct command. Conrad's sister is introduced to the group with a smile. Nathan declares that this display should resolve the matter. Ariel watches the happy staff cleaning despite her demands. Nathan explains how touching Ariel allows for deep thought reading. Nathan admits he hoped for an even greater change. Ariel looks saddened by his purely clinical reasoning. Nathan explains his habitual isolation, while Ariel questions his sudden change in perspective. Ariel provides a simplified translation of the spirit's complex messages to the emperor. Nathan abruptly cuts the conversation short, insisting they head to their destination immediately. Nathan effortlessly carries both Ariel and young Crystal as they traverse the palace. Ariel protests being carried, but Nathan prioritizes shielding them from prying imperial eyes. Nathan offers a rare apology for the trouble, while Ariel realizes her own oversight. The palace attendant watches in stunned silence as the emperor carries his family. Nathan leads his family through the grand golden doors toward the private chambers. A team of diligent maids prepares a vast selection of elegant royal garments. Glittering gold-trimmed uniforms and dresses hang ready for the family's upcoming formal debut. The family stands transformed and regal, debuting their elegant and coordinated new royal attire. Nathan reflects on the day's rapid changes, while Ariel notes the approaching party deadline. Ariel enthusiastically directs the maids to begin the final fitting process right away. Young Crystal beams with pure, radiant joy in her beautiful new pink gown.